Hey everyone, welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily, and I'm here with Nick. Today we're talking about something that a lot of learners experience, but don't always talk about. That feeling when daily stress and overthinking start messing with your ability to focus, to learn, and to even enjoy the process of learning English.
Yeah, it's something I've seen so often. People start with loads of motivation, right? They've got goals, they're excited, but then life gets in the way. Work pressure, family stuff, tiredness, and suddenly English feels harder than it did last week.
And then your brain starts overthinking everything. Am I studying the right way? Why can't I remember that word? Maybe I'm not smart enough. It's like this spiral where stress creates more stress, and then you feel stuck.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not that your ability suddenly disappears, it's just clouded by everything else you're carrying. Mental noise, emotional weight, all those open tabs in your head. It's no wonder your brain says, I can't focus on grammar right now.
And I think one of the biggest myths is that we should always be ready to learn, no matter what. But we're human. If you've had a tough day, or you're worried about money, or you didn't sleep well, it affects how your brain processes things. That's just reality.
It's like trying to study while someone's vacuuming in your head. You can technically still read the words, but nothing really sticks. And then you get frustrated, and that frustration becomes another distraction.
I've been there too. I remember once trying to practice listening exercises after an argument with someone. I couldn't even hear the audio properly, not because the volume was low, but because my head was full. Full of thoughts, doubts, feelings.
That's the thing. Language learning isn't separate from the rest of your life. If your mind's busy, your learning slows down. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're failing, it just means you're human, and something else needs attention first.
And sometimes what we really need isn't more practice, it's more kindness. Just taking a moment to say, okay, I'm stressed today. Maybe I won't push myself. Maybe I'll just listen to a short video, or repeat a phrase I already know. That's enough for today.
One thing I've noticed is that overthinking often shows up in the form of second-guessing everything you do. Like, you write a sentence and immediately think, is that the right preposition? Or you hear a native speaker and think, why do I still sound so different? That kind of self-questioning isn't just tiring, it slows your progress more than you realize.
Yes, and it takes the joy out of it too. You start the day wanting to learn something new, and by the end, you're just mentally exhausted from judging yourself. And here's the tough part, most of that judgment isn't even accurate. You're doing better than you think, but stress makes you forget that.
Exactly. You could be improving, but because your mind is full of pressure, you can't feel the improvement. That disconnect is frustrating. You're putting in effort but not getting the emotional reward. And that's when a lot of people feel like giving up.
That's why emotional awareness is part of language learning too. It's not just about flashcards and grammar, it's about recognizing when your stress levels are blocking your brain's ability to absorb. Because honestly, if you're too stressed to think clearly, no method will work.
Right. And sometimes, the best thing you can do is simplify. Like, maybe today isn't for deep study. Maybe it's for watching a comfort show in English, or reading a sentence out loud just for the sound of it. You don't have to improve every single day to be making progress.
Yes. And I always tell learners, your brain isn't a machine. It doesn't perform the same way every day. Some days are slower. Some days you forget more. That doesn't mean you're going backwards. It just means you're human, and your learning rhythm will change depending on what else is going on in your life.
It's like going to the gym when you're already sore and tired. Maybe you just do some light stretching instead of lifting weights. That's still part of your fitness routine. Same with English, gentle exposure still counts.
I love that. And there's also the idea of giving yourself permission to not be perfect. A lot of overthinking starts because we believe we're supposed to speak like a native, remember everything, never hesitate. But those expectations are too heavy.
Totally. And they're usually self-imposed. No one else is expecting you to be flawless after a few months of study. So when you catch yourself overthinking, try asking, would I say this to someone else? Chances are, you'd be a lot kinder to them than you are to yourself.
That's such a good trick. Like, imagine your friend just forgot a word during conversation, would you call them a failure? Of course not. You'd probably smile and help them out. But when we make a mistake, we act like it's the end of the world.
So if you're someone who's constantly replaying your mistakes, doubting your pronunciation, worrying you're not fast enough, breathe. You're not falling behind. You're just carrying a bit too much in your head. Give yourself space. Learning needs space.
Yes, space to breathe, space to be messy, and space to try again tomorrow. That's how real progress happens, not through pressure, but through patience.
And you know, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let English be a safe space rather than another source of stress. Like, instead of thinking, I need to practice because I'm behind, you shift your mindset to, I'm connecting with English today because it helps me feel grounded.
Exactly. Especially on the tough days. When your job's overwhelming, or your thoughts won't slow down, English can actually become a kind of anchor. You don't have to push yourself to achieve, you just use the language gently, to stay connected, even if it's just a word or two.
I've had learners tell me that they read a sentence before bed, not to study, not to memorize anything, just to feel close to the language. And honestly, that's beautiful. That kind of emotional connection builds long-term consistency without burnout.
That's such a quiet, but powerful form of progress. And sometimes we forget that progress isn't always visible. Just understanding your stress, recognizing your limits, and still choosing to show up in a small way, that's growth. That's you adapting.
And I think it's important to remind people, the goal isn't to study harder when life is overwhelming. The goal is to study softer. With more flexibility. More forgiveness. Because that's what keeps your relationship with English alive through real-life ups and downs.
Absolutely. And the more we practice that, just softening the way we talk to ourselves, softening our goals a little, the more we realize we're actually moving forward. Not in huge leaps maybe, but in quiet, steady steps.
And those quiet steps, they're often the ones that last the longest.
So if your mind's been racing lately, if life feels like a bit too much and your English feels like it's slipping, just remember this. Learning doesn't disappear when things get messy. It adapts. And you can too.
Right. It's okay to pause, to slow down, to do less. What matters is that you don't disconnect completely. Stay close to the language in whatever way feels gentle and manageable. That's how you build something that lasts.
Thanks for being here with us today on the British Accent Podcast. We hope this episode gave you a bit of comfort and a little clarity. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Take care of yourself, and we'll catch you next time.